Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is October the 4th, 2025. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully you're having a good Saturday. Hopefully you had a good Friday. I know normally I would be giving you those Friday vibes. I'm sorry I missed out on that. But let's do a quick recap, whatever you want to call it. Recap's the word. But yeah, let's catch up. So we'll start with Friday because that was the big day. We got up, we went to work. Work was solid. I will say solid, but very busy. It was almost like an inverted Friday for me, where it just like normally there's no work and it's the slowest day of the week. And instead, this was like my busiest day. And then like there was a thing that happened in another department that wound up affecting me in an annoying way. Essentially, they had gotten some kind of order mix up, some kind of snafu. And, you know, a bunch of these jackets came to our warehouse. They weren't supposed to be there. So we had to switch the packaging because the packaging was the issue, like the box packaging, and put them in a new box and then ship them out, I guess, something to that effect. So all of those excess boxes had to come to me. And there was like, I think hundreds of them. So throughout the day, I just got these pallets of like open boxes, but not cut down all the way. And for like the first part of it, I kind of let them do what they wanted because it's another department, whole other supervisors like leading the charge on this. You know, I'm gonna let them do their thing. I'm gonna help out the best I can. But then I started realizing like, oh, I'm busy enough here and this is now jamming up the crusher because the boxes are not going down. They're not, you know, this isn't working. So I essentially had to kind of take a little bit of a detour in my day, cut down boxes, then crush the boxes, then get to my main, you know, work, which is the cardboard buggies, get that, you know, caught up as best I could. So it was a little hectic in that regard. But overall, not too bad, not too crazy. After that, I took my coworker home. And then I got home myself, and then, which I gotta say, it felt different. It felt so weird. My energy was a little bit off until I got maybe around midway through the day, because I knew I wasn't gonna do my usual things. Like I was already missing y'all. I was already missing yapping to the homies. I was, you know, missing my workout. I was worried like, okay, this is it. This is where I get fat now. I'm gonna gain like 10 pounds tonight. And I was just in my bag about that a little bit. But I said, you know what? This doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, you know, we have some life change things. We got to make some adaptations for at least the next few months. So let's make sure that we can see our friends, at least a decent amount, at least to the best of my ability. I've found that especially over the past like couple years, that's something that really has a very positive effect on me, is being able to see my friend group consistently, you know, like make it happen. Having some beers with the bros, it really does mean a lot for the mental health, at least for me. So I was happy to make that happen. It was also just weird to be doing the Saturday thing on a Friday night. But overall, I was like maybe an hour later than usual. We did the same hangouts. So we got a food corner coming right now. No, we went to Chameleon and I got my usual 3 slices. And I gotta say, this was a 2 out of 3 situation. I don't know what's going on, but the Bianca has been lacking at Chameleon. Not many people are saying it. Fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Okay, that's the word on the street. I'm putting it out there. No, but the Bianca was like very similar to the one last week. It was like a tomato polenta. I don't even know what the fuck a gremolata is, but that was on the pizza. There was a veggie pizza that I got a slice of. I can't recall all the veggies on it, but that was a really good slice. And then I got a pepperoni. The problem piece was the Bianca. And the reason was not because of the balsamic this time, because they wetted that shit up too strong and it was not my favorite. This time it was very thin, very, I don't know how else to say it. It was burnt. Like it was just so crispy. It felt like eating a chip. So that was a bit of a knock. But overall, you know, had a good beer to go with it. I think it was like some Rheingeist special IPA thingy, Moonburst or something. It was pretty good. So it was good. The vibes were nice. The vibes were tight. We then bounced to Tavern, hang out for a little bit. Then we wind up going to Junkers, the Yunkers, which was a good night. It was karaoke night, so that was an interesting twist to hear the homies, hear the people singing their little songs. I was people kept asking, and not a lot of people, but a couple people, especially the homie, was like, "You gotta sing, bro. You gotta sing. You gotta do some karaoke." And I'm like, "Not tonight. No, thank you. Maybe though. Maybe this fall, this winter, I will do another karaoke session. I feel like I haven't done one since that date thing I mentioned earlier in the year. That was like the one time I did karaoke. So that's not a common thing for your boy. We'll see though. Maybe. But just vibed out, had some drinks. Then we closed out at the homie's house, and there was homemade apple pie. It was very yummy. It was very good. I enjoyed it. Yes. So yeah, it was nice to close out with some apple pie, and then I got some sleep. Woke up, got home around, I want to say about 7-ish, maybe 8-ish. Took a long nap, got some more sleep. And, obviously now it's Saturday. And I got up and it felt like, okay, we're nice. I did a little bit of gaming, hung out for like maybe an hour or so. Went to the gym, and I was very curious because I'm like, this is my first time in a very long time just completely not working out. I think actually when I was at my friend's house, he had some weights, and I did like a couple of weights because I was just like, I was itching. But so I was curious though to see how I was gonna feel. Was it gonna take me out? Was I gonna get really tired? What was it gonna be the opposite effect? Was it gonna just come in and kill it? And overall, it was just about the same. We did heavy lifting. Overall, the sets were good. They were solid. I was able to get it up, get it down. So that was nice. I felt good. Post that, we did some cardio. That was also solid. So yeah, I would say the gym was a success. Yes, we're back. We're so back, baby. And here we are. We're back home, and we're here ready to yap. Now I have, several stories I wanted to cover, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna do like a double feature situation for the episodes for the day or not. We'll see. I'll keep you posted, of course. But let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's get into some news. All right. Our first story comes from ABC News. Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers allege judge acted as a 13th juror, vowed to appeal. After their client received a sentence 4 times as long as they requested, Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers are arguing the judge is punishing the rap mogul for crimes he's innocent of. In exclusive interviews with 2 key members of Combs' defense team, his lawyers told ABC News on Friday that they are considering appealing the case and argued that Combs is being unjustly punished. The jury made it clear in their verdict that they acquitted him of the sex trafficking and the RICO counts, said lead attorney Tinny Garagos. Not guilty means not guilty. Combs was sentenced to over 4 years in prison for his conviction on 2 prostitution-related offenses. He will get credit for the 12 months he's already served, as well as being fined $500,000. So yeah, the defense wanted, I believe, they wanted 14 months. So essentially just time served, and then he would be able to get out of there. And prosecution was like, no, with what he's been found guilty of, we can run it up to 11 years. We want you to sentence him to 11. Geragos reiterated that Combs is a changed man and rebuked the claim by prosecutors that the rap mogul is trying to skirt responsibility for his actions. I can say from the bottom of my heart, with all the hours that I spent with him getting ready for the trial, that he is a changed man, said Garagos. Combs' lawyers have said that their appeal will center on the argument that the judge unfairly considered conduct for which Combs was acquitted. By finding Combs not guilty of sex trafficking, the lawyers said, the jury concluded that Combs did not use force or coercion on his victims. That was totally inconsistent with the jury verdict. The judge acted as a 13th juror. Said attorney Alexandra Shapiro, who will lead Combs's appeal. The sentence was driven by the conduct the jury rejected. The jury acquitted Mr. Combs of any coercion. I'm sure I can say that correctly. When announcing Combs' sentence, Judge Arun Subramanian, sure, that's what we're going to land on there, working it out, emphasized the repeated nature of Combs' crimes and violence towards his former partners. The court is not assured that if released, these crimes would not be committed again, the judge said. Subramanian said his sentence should hopefully send a message to other survivors of domestic abuse that violence against women is met with real accountability. When asked by ABC News' Aaron Katersky, Shapiro acknowledged some of the evidence in the trial, including a video of Combs assaulting Ventura in California, in a California hotel, was indefensible and contributed to the verdict in a lengthy sentence. The video was the worst thing in the case, she said, arguing that Combs has owned up to his violent past. We accept the domestic abuse. We take ownership of it, and we accept responsibility for it. We said that from day one. I said that over and over and over again, myself in the trial, but domestic violence is not what he was convicted of, added Garagos. Shapiro argued that the lengthy sentence runs counter to the goal of rehabilitation for Combs, who vowed during his sentencing to lead a new life if given a second chance. What is the point of more incarceration for a person like Mr. Combs? He really should be on a path to rehabilitation. He should be able to get treatment. He should be able to start giving back in a way that I think he is uniquely positioned to do. Which I'm thinking to myself, why? Because he has so much money? Like, what about him? Oh, his status? Like, okay, all right. Sorry, I wanted to add that. And it seems just senseless to keep him in prison for years more, she said. Between his year in prison, the damage to his reputation, professional harm, and a flood of civil lawsuits, Shapiro argued that Combs has been punished enough for his crimes. That message has been sent in spades. Mr. Combs' life has been destroyed by all of this, and additional incarceration isn't needed to send a message against domestic violence, she said. So yeah, I just wanted to read the whole article, and I guess get to my 2 cents on the matter, how I feel about it. As I mean, this is more or less now wrapped up, at least for this big chapter for Combs. I mean, we don't know if there's going to be any more lawsuits that are of like the legal nature that might put him in jail or keep him in jail for longer. But obviously he does have a lot of civil lawsuits that are definitely going to be keeping him in the public eye for a long time to come. But I think that this sentence is good. I think that it's pretty solid and on the nose. Not that I'm like ever like, oh yeah, kudos, Judge, you did so good sentencing this man to prison. I'm so happy about it. Thank you. You did so good. Salute. No. But I do think that this is overall a verdict that makes sense to me. I understand the logic of like, well, it seems like you're going out of bounds and you're being too malicious in terms of his sentencing. At least that literally, though, I'm saying this because I've heard at least 2 or 3 people that I've like talked to come across who have said that and feel this way. And I was really surprised by that because once again, everything's been out into the open. And I was like, for people to see everything that he's done, hear about all the shit, all the testimony and stuff, and then still kind of say, well, it's like, well, it's not that bad. Actually, you know, they were all willing participants and whatnot. So like, I don't see where the big hubbub is. It's like, I don't know if this is coming from the fact that people might just be big P. Diddy fans, or if this is like, you know, along racial lines, which I mean, hey, I can understand. Like this feels and maybe looks like a persecution of a black man, and I say that because we have multiple stories throughout history where you have, a white man of power and success. They might do something very similar to this, and then they get off, at least once again, by the letters of the law. Like, they essentially just get a slap on the wrist. They would get what essentially Diddy's legal team was offering. I would say there's definitely some more context here. There's definitely things that make this very specific. And once again, for me, I don't know if I would wanted to have seen it at this point, doing my full thought, like, 11 years. Because once again, along the lines of what he was convicted for, I feel like you're giving him something. That does make sense. And I do agree that once he even gets out, which I think he'll be like, he's 59 or something right now, if I'm not mistaken, he'll be like 63, something to that effect, when he gets out. So I'm like, that's something. That's time. He's going to have more legal issues and civil stuff to potentially deal with. So, like, okay. This feels all right to me. I mean, I don't know. At least from the perspective of the judge, how I'm thinking, like, they said, okay, I'm going to meet in the middle here. I'm not going to give the prosecution exactly what they want there. That feels maybe out of bounds, but I am not going to just let him go today. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I was surprised to see the mixed reaction from people about this. But I mean, overall, like I said, I think I'm okay with it in terms of how things have shaken out for this trial. But yeah, I mean, I am curious to hear more people's opinions on the situation. I'm sure the discourse is going to be ongoing. About the Diddler. But yeah, I wanted to start off with that. That was a big story I was waiting to kind of pop, and then of course I'm like, of course this is gonna come out on my day off. But no worries, no problems. We got it in. Our next story is from also ABC News. 2 children killed, 2 others in critical condition in Texas truck stop shooting. 2 children, ages 4 and 13, are dead, and 2 others are in critical condition after being fatally shot at a truck stop near, Angleton, Texas, officials said. I wanted to say Arlington for some reason. Deputies responded to a report of a shooting Saturday, according to the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office. The 2 other children, ages 8 and 9, were transported in critical condition, according to the Sheriff's Office. Investigators are collecting evidence and working to determine exactly what happened. All individuals believed to be involved have been detained, and there is no ongoing threat to the community, the Sheriff's Office said in a statement. The statement added, while details are still developing, the loss of 2 children in such a manner is a tragedy. Our thoughts are with the family and everyone affected as we continue to learn more about this heartbreaking situation. So, obviously, condolences that go out to all involved in the situation. Very tragic, very sad. But we are going to be moving on, though, to another story coming out of CBS News. Federal agents shoot woman in Chicago suburb after allegedly being rammed, boxed in by cars, DHS says. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security said federal agents on Saturday morning shot a woman in the Chicago suburb of Broadview after the agents allegedly became boxed in by vehicles. According to a statement from DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, the incident unfolded when agents were patrolling in West Suburban Broadview, where they have an ICE facility that has been the site of ongoing protests and clashes between agents and demonstrators. The patrolling agents were rammed by vehicles and boxed in by 10 cars, DHS said. The statement did not say where in Broadview this occurred, but it was in the same area as the ICE facility. And I think it's important how they're putting this in quotes, because this becomes a jurisdiction issue with the Chicago police later into the story. So they, by the way, are sticking to this in terms of the DHS. They're saying, this is how it happened. It happened here, this way. And they're like, okay, but it didn't. And then anytime they're asked, they just said, no, it happened in Broadview. Let's see. DHS said the agents were unable to move their vehicles and got out of the car, according to DHS officials. One of the drivers of a car boxing them in had a gun, which the agency said was a semi-automatic weapon. DHS said the agents opened fire, striking the driver, who they said is a woman. She was taken to a hospital for treatment. They did not offer further information about her condition, where she was shot, and how badly she was injured. In their statement, DHS claimed the woman was named in a U.S. Customs and Border Protection intelligence bulletin last week for doxing agents and posting threats against ICE online. They have not released her name or any other further information that could corroborate those claims. DHS said no agents were injured. DHS accused Chicago police of not helping during the incident, though Chicago police have no jurisdiction in Broadview. DHS also said in a statement, there's a growing crowd and we are deploying special operations to control the scene. Chicago police said in a statement they responded to the 3900 block of South Kedzie in the city's Brighton Park neighborhood for a report of a person shot. Brighton Park is several miles away from Broadview, where McLaughlin's statement said the shooting took place. A second statement from DHS a short time later said Border Patrol officers were patrolling near 39th Place and Kedzie before repeating McLaughlin's statement that said the incident took place in Broadview. CBS News Chicago has reached out to DHS officials for clarification, but they have just referred us to their statement. So yeah, I mean, this to me is a very unfortunate, just stupid ass fucking incident. I mean, yes, you can put the onus on the people who set up this whole fucking situation. I would like to know more details though before like hammering out in concrete saying, okay, these people did X, Y, and Z, because we just don't know. We truly only have the DHS's statement here, and that's kind of what we have to treat as gospel until more details come out. But, you know, obviously shit like this shouldn't be happening, but also this shit should not be happening this fucking way. Like, I should not be moving this fucking way. We shouldn't have Border Patrol agents and shit in Chicago hunting down human beings and shit. Like, it really makes you fucking wonder what fucking era we're in. Like, it really looks and feels like, I don't know, at this point in time, I don't know how else to fucking say it or word it, but it feels like that slave catcher shit where you just have literally law enforcement running around trying to wrangle people up and lock them up and then send them away somewhere, as opposed to like doing something actually fucking useful. Yeah, that being said, though, yeah, you shouldn't be doing like goddamn Fast and Furious, heist crimes on them and whipping out guns or whatever. That's obviously bad. That's a no. Like, okay, you need me to say that. All right, cool, check. But yeah, I'll come back to the story if I get any more information. Also, as well, on the truck stop shooting, I don't have too much there to offer. But if I do have more details, we will be coming back to both of those stories. Rest assured. All right, we have one more story before I let you go. We're gonna go to Germany. We're gonna take a plane. Well, wait. Let's hold that thought. Let's hang out in a holding pattern for a second. Let's take our last break, and then we'll go ahead and close this thing out. When I say I miss you guys, I mean it. It's weird. Like, I think about my day. Like, as I go through my day, I think about how I'm going to word it, how I'm going to process it through this podcast. It has become a very key method, metric, whatever filter that I like to use, to kind of say, hey, how did the day go? How am I feeling? How are things? And, then where's the world at? Let's look in the news. I don't know. So anytime I miss a day, it just feels weird. It just feels out of sorts. But also, like, especially over the past few years, I've just realized that, like, time really is not on your fucking side. You only have so much of it, and you really got to make the hours count the best way you can. And I've really tried to, and the best I can do, especially with the money I have and the things I have available. But yeah, sometimes you do have to make sacrifices, and that is poo-poo caca. But so it goes. But I'm happy to be here now and yapping to you. So yeah, anyway, just wanted to say that. Oh. Okay. Sorry. Our last story is from CNN. Germany's Munich airport closes twice in 2 days over unconfirmed drone sightings. Munich airport has halted flights for the second time in 2 days over unconfirmed drone sightings, according to a Friday statement on the airport's website. On the evening of October 3rd, German Air Traffic Control, or DFS, restricted flight operations at Munich airport as a precautionary measure due to unconfirmed drone sightings and suspended them until further notice, the airport said in a statement. The airport previously grounded a total of 17 flights shortly after 10 p.m. Local time on Thursday, affecting nearly 3,000 passengers, the airport said in a statement. In addition, 15 arriving flights were diverted Thursday to the German city of Stuttgart, Nuremberg, and Frankfurt, as well as Vienna and neighboring Austria, the statement said. Flight tracking website Flight Radar showed several planes circling the airport at around 11 p.m. local time before heading to other destinations. The airport reopened at 5 a.m. local time Friday when flight arrivals and departures were deemed safe, a call handler fielding passenger inquiries told CNN. Now everything has resumed. Some flights were canceled, but the airport has reopened. Since 5 a.m., all arrivals and departures are safe, they said. The first plane scheduled to land in Munich was a Lufthansa long-haul flight from Bangkok, estimated to touch down at 5:25 a.m., according to the airport's website. All right, we're going to just kind of scroll ahead. There's more blah, blah, blah flight detail stuff. But Munich becomes the latest European airport to close after sightings of drones nearby. A spat of sightings over several airports across Denmark and Norway in recent weeks saw tens of thousands of passengers impacted. Denmark later banned all civil drone flights in its airspace as it prepared to host a summit of European leaders in Copenhagen this week to discuss support for Ukraine in its fight against Russia. Sorry. Losing my throat there. And bolstering European security. This is, I like this article because it was a nice little cute catch up because I haven't really talked too much about the drone stuff in Europe. It's all really led to, it's believed, alleged, thought to be Russian drones that are essentially doing this weird surveillance. And, obviously this is not something they're allowed to be doing. And then when they're pressed in any kind of way, they move along or they move on through. But this is becoming an escalation over the recent weeks because you're seeing more of it and it's just becoming more, aggressive, with this like Munich airport being shut down. But yeah, let me go ahead and read further. During a four-hour that was not how I wanted to say that. During a 4-hour televised event on Thursday, which touched on multiple key sticking points with Europe and the U.S., Russian President Vladimir Putin scoffed at Western claims of possible Russian involvement in recent drone flights over Denmark, casting them as part of purported NATO efforts to inflame tensions and boost the defense spending. I won't anymore. Not to France, not to Denmark, not to Copenhagen, he joked, in reference to the drone flight allegations. It's also worth noting, too, that this might not be actual Russian drones in every single instance, that these also might be civilian drones. That's why with the Denmark incident, you had them say, hey, no more civilian drones are allowed. You can't do that. You gotta not in this airspace, buddy. Because you don't want to have that happen. And then it's like, all this tension gets ratcheted up and it's like, wait, it wasn't even Russian in the first place. That definitely has a very similar vibe to the Chinese weather balloon thing. They were like, oh, this is Chinese spy stuff. They're spying on us. we gotta take them down. We gotta shoot these things down. I don't know. It had that kind of vibe to it. Obviously, I know it's not the same bar for bar, but it's not 100% technically. But what's my money on? Yeah, this is probably 100%, Kremlin related, drones doing some kind of weird surveillance, seeing what's going to happen. What's the reaction? What are you guys going to do about it? But let's see. But he also issued a veiled threat. We are carefully watching the growing militarization of Europe, he said. Is all of this just words, or is it time for us to take countermeasures? No one should have doubt that Russia's countermeasures will not take a long time to come. As the European summit leaders were expected to discuss several measures, including let me run that back. At the European summit, leaders were expected to discuss several measures intended to protect the continent's skies, including a flagship drone wall initiative. This initiative would not be a physical wall, but instead a layered network of detection and interception systems building on individual EU members' anti-drone capabilities. So, I mean, that's been kind of news of the week that I did want to get to, at least talk about a bit as we close out this episode. Do I think that this is really like super scary? Should we be worried? Is this going to be like a big showdown lead up to World War III? No, I don't think so. But it is interesting news. It is relevant news. We'll see if Russia is going to keep playing these kind of games, or they're going to keep rationing up the tension, or are they going to back off? Are they going to lay off, or, we'll see. We'll see what is around the bend. But yeah, that's for another day or another time. We'll see. But let me go ahead and close this out. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Appreciate all those follows. It's just good numbers. That's always nice to see. It's good for the algorithm, I think. I think those are all good things. The more the merrier there. But leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. All the stars are appreciated on the Spotify, on the Apple Podcast. But regardless, if you do none of those things, if you just like to hang out, if you're just a lurker, if you just like to, you click on for your not even 5 minutes, 1 minute, and you just say, all right, I'm out of here. I appreciate you. I love you for that. Thank you so much for that. But hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.